Hey Nick, this is Compton 2008 again, your good friend. I would like to first state that what you had said, that I had said, about me taking down all of my videos, it's not true. I have watched both of your videos since I posted mine, and I told you that I would take down all of my videos on you. My three-part video, Mystical Knowledge About Global Warming, has quite a few views. It's, one of my highest viewed ones. Anyway, I would like to first say I'm sorry for misspeaking. I completely, that somehow got away from me in editing my video. I said that you had read from chapter 2. I'm sorry, I meant to say you had read from chapter 1. But my statement about chapter 1 and chapter 2 contradicting itself stands. I will not apologize for that. And I do have my Bible with me. And I will tell you why the Bible contradicts itself in chapter 1 and chapter 2. And then I will say why the Bible contradicts itself even just in, or states false type of things in just chapter 1. The reason there's a contradiction in chapter 1 and chapter 2. God had created Adam after he had created the animals. Adam and Eve after he created the animals. In the first chapter of the Bible. In mainly Genesis. Second chapter of Genesis. God had created Adam, and then he had created the animals and birds because Adam was lonely, and he let Adam name the animals. And then God said, Adam is still lonely, so he created Eve out of Adam's rib. Now, which Adam and Eve story would you like to believe, Nick? Did the animals come before or after? And were Adam and Eve created at the same time? Or Eve came out of Adam's rib? And this brings me to my biggest problem with you creationists and you Bible thumpers. In Genesis chapter 1, God had created and let vegetation spread throughout the world in the third day. But yet, he had not created the sun and the boundary between light and dark until the fifth day. In case you were wondering, Nick, in case you're confused, that means that vegetation was allowed to happen before the sun. We know this, Nick, that we know that couldn't have happened. Photosynthesis, the reason plants thrive is because of sunlight. And then this brings me to my biggest just annoyance at you guys. This book, Nick, promotes incest, rape, murder, and yet you guys don't even notice that. But you do notice that homosexuality is wrong, and what scientists have to say is wrong. Will you have sex with your sister or brother? Will you have sex with your mom? I guess not, because at the same time, this religion that tells you that stuff is wrong, this book says it's okay. This book also says murder is fine, if it's in the name of God. This book also says rape is okay. This book also allows you to stone your children and murder your children if they disobey you, if they don't listen to you. This book also says that you should beat your wife if she does not listen to you. And if you call me a liar, Nick, that's also violating the 8th commandment. Depending on which Bible you have, if it's the Protestant version, or the Catholic version, or the Jewish version. I'm guessing you're a Protestant. The 8th commandment says, "Thou shalt not bear false witness against thy neighbor." So, Nick, what part of this book is literal? And what part is symbolic? Because you guys have a fucking hard time dealing with that, don't you? You want to just go ahead and say homosexuality is wrong, and that's literal, and that is exactly what God's word means. And then at the same breath, you say incest is wrong, rape is wrong, murder is wrong, killing somebody. This book also promotes you to kill or publicly ridicule anyone who works on the Sabbath. Working on the Sabbath is punishable by death in this book. So, if you're going to church and you stop at McDonald's, are you going to kill somebody for doing that? And Nick, I at least thought you would be better than this, Nick. I had asked you to provide me with some sort of study or anything, any peer-reviewed study, any experiment to disprove evolution. I did not ask you to quote mine it, to make it say something it does not. I read a majority of that study, Nick, because I found it online. And I'd like to know where you found that study, because I highly doubt that it was on Oregon State University's website. Because that's where I found it. And guess what? Nowhere did the co-author of the study, John Rubin, nowhere did John Rubin say that this proves evolution. Nowhere did he say that there was no evolution between birds and dinosaurs. He did, however, say maybe dinosaurs did not evolve into birds, but he also stated that maybe birds had either evolved or devolved into dinosaurs. Now, learn to read also. I had a hard fucking time getting through your video. I should have asked a 5-year-old to read that study. Because they would have gotten through it a lot easier than you do. And I know you neocons, like you and God Gun Guts Glory, are so upset about the public school systems because they're run by government, and I assume you went to public school and I went to public school. There is nothing wrong with the public school system because I can read and speak the English language very well. Whilst you, however, misspelled gnat. And in one of your videos, in the description box, you had written, I tell people about our situation, A-R-E. It's, I tell people about our situation, O-U-R. I'd also, speaking of incredible ignorance, you do realize that the poster behind you in the video addressed to me is of Richard Nixon and Spiro Agnew, who, Both were fucking Republicans. And I know how you're gay for the Republicans and the conservatives. So don't tell me who's scary president.